Breaking right now at noon, trailblazing Senator Dianne Feinstein has passed away. How the legendary lawmaker is being remembered today on Capitol Hill.
Developing at noon, the search for a shooter after a man and woman are shot while inside a car, both victims later showing up at the hospital.
Also here at noon, a break in a case after a man was attacked at a movie theater months ago. The suspect is now in custody.
Breaking news out of New York City, where a state of emergency has been declared following flash flooding.
And let's look outside right here where we could also see some storms this afternoon. A lot of wet weather possibly sticking around for the weekend.
And the Golden Bachelor's journey to find love is now underway. A look at the season premiere with the women still in the running. Happy Friday, South Florida. I'm Janice Fernandez.
It was a little cringy. Did you
watch it? A little bit. I recorded it. I have to watch it when I get home.
I'm Christy Kruger. A Local 10 News begins in 1 minute. We have breaking news this noon. Groundbreaking California Senator Dianne Feinstein has passed away at the age of 90. She was the longest serving female senator in U.S. history and was also the oldest current member at the time of her death.
And Dianne Feinstein is being remembered today. Her desk draped in black and with flowers, white flowers on it, per tradition. She served 6 terms in Congress, and her career was marked by many firsts.
Local 10's Gio Signaris is in the newsroom with a look back at her life and her legacy in the political world.
Christy, Janice, President Joe Biden, a fellow Democrat, of course, called Feinstein a pioneering American, a true trailblazer, and a cherished friend for him and First Lady Joe Biden. Additionally, the Senate held a moment of silence while flags at the U.S. Capitol have been lowered as an outpouring of support for the senator is coming in from both sides of the aisle.
And Lord, we pause to thank you for the life and legacy of Senator Dianne Feinstein.
A day of mourning on Capitol Hill and across the country as California Senator Dianne Feinstein passed away Thursday night at the age of 90 at her home in Washington, D.C. The Senate holding a prayer for the late senator, remembering her towering legacy and following the Senate tradition when a sitting member passes away by draping black over the lawmaker's desk and adorning it with flowers.
May her death teach us to number our days, that we may have hearts of wisdom.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who's from California, also taking a moment today to honor the longest-serving woman in Senate history and recognize the impact of her decades of public service.
And I believe at the end of the day, the trailblazing of the first woman-elected mayor, even coming from a different party, inspired women from both sides of the aisle to seek elected office and to have their voices heard.
Feinstein was a fierce advocate for liberal priorities important to her state, including environmental protection, reproductive rights, and gun control, but was also known as a bipartisan individual who would often talk with the Republicans and find common ground. She rose to prominence in 1978 when she became the first woman elected to lead the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. She then served as the first female mayor of San Francisco. Feinstein, however, recently faced some health issues and subsequent mounting pressure to retire after she was unable to perform her duties in Congress for months-long stretches. After returning to Washington on a lighter work schedule, in May, her office confirmed reports that she had suffered complications from shingles, including Ramsay Hunt and encephalitis. Then in August, Feinstein was briefly hospitalized after tripping over a chair in her home. The senator's passing now opens up a sort of political battleground, as her vacant seat now means California Governor Gavin Newsom would need to appoint a replacement. That seat is widely coveted, with many California Democrats already announcing their campaigns since Feinstein announced her intention to retire at the end of her term next year. Any Newsom appointment could significantly influence the dynamic of the race ahead of the primary. As that path is determined, Feinstein's legacy will be remembered as one of towering achievement and inspiration.
Senator Dianne Feinstein was one of the most amazing people who ever graced the Senate, who ever graced the country. She had so many amazing, wonderful qualities wrapped up in one incredible human being.
When it comes to filling that now vacant seat, Governor Newsom said recently he would not select any of the candidates that are currently running to replace Feinstein. That now leaves open the question of what exactly happens next. Meanwhile, Feinstein is survived by her daughter Catherine, her granddaughter Eileen, and 3 stepchildren. In the newsroom, I'm Gio Signaris, Local 10 News.
Gio, thank you for that. What a legacy she had. And also, we're following some developing news out of New York right now, where areas are just underwater.
The flash flooding causing major traffic and subway problems. Local 10's Andrea Martinez in the newsroom with this video. Andrea.
Hey, Christy, Janice. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has declared a state of emergency across New York due to all of that flooding. Take a look. Conditions are especially bad in Brooklyn, where a month's worth of rain fell in just 3 hours. The New York Police Department says there are some roads closed and there were numerous reports of damage and flooding across the city. A terminal at LaGuardia Airport is also closed now due to all of this. And you can see here floodwaters spilling into subways and onto railways. This caused major disruptions to the subway service there, including on 9 train lines in Brooklyn and all 3 Metro North train lines. Some areas observed just under 2 inches of rain in only an hour, and that's the second highest hourly rainfall total measured there in 80 years. The state of emergency due to the flooding extends to Long Island and the Hudson Valley, so as you can imagine, a big mess out there. Check out this water. It is just gushing down the steps of the Central Library in Brooklyn. This is in Mount Prospect Park. And at last check, 8.5 million people were under that flash flood warning in the New York City area. So we will continue following this, monitoring the situation, and bringing you the very latest on air and online. In the newsroom, Andrea Martinez, Local 10 News.
Gauge, closely tracked by the Federal Reserve, rose in August due to higher gas prices. Prices rose 0.4% from July to August. That's up from just 0.2% the previous month. Now compare all of that with a year earlier. Prices rose 3.5% in August, up from 3.4% year over year. This increase in July happened, and then we're told a sharp increase in the gas cost is what drove the August price index up. And let's check our stocks on this kind of news and see what's happening out there. A few moments ago, the Dow was down, not by a whole lot, almost 20 points. The Nasdaq, though, and the S&P 500 are both trading in positive territory.
Developing at noon, dozens of people are dead after a suicide attack in southwestern Pakistan. It went off at a religious procession earlier today. The district health officer says 52 people have died, with more than 50 others also injured in the blast. Pakistan's prime minister is condemning the explosion, expressing deep sorrow and grief in a statement.
Developing right now, a judge is ending the conservatorship between former NFL player Michael Oher and Sean and Leanne Toohey. The family inspired that 2009 hit movie The Blind Side, but Oher says the Tooheys actually tricked him into a conservatorship and made millions off of him. They have denied those allegations, saying that conservatorship was placed to work around the NCAA regulations and allow Oher to play college football. And ahead right now at noon, a trial in connection with a deadly mass shooting at a banquet hall is finally wrapping up.
And we're in the courtroom for what could be the final day.
And police in Lauderhill combing for clues after several recent shootings, including one today where a woman was hurt.
And crime on camera after vandals targeted the same house multiple times.
And we already have storms on radar, and check out how slow some of these are moving up here in Broward County. Could even see some pockets of minor flooding out of some of these thunderstorms today. Big question, will these continue into the weekend? We got answers for you in my forecast coming up next.
Well, we're getting ready for the weekend, ready for maybe some drier weather. That would be nice, at least a little bit for the weekend.
And then we look at
and then we see that.
And it looks like we just got to deal with this, Brandon.
A couple more days longer, and then wait until next week. The weather's going to turn so much nicer. Wait until you see the change, not only in our rain chances, but temperatures too in the 7-day. In the meantime, still putting up with some rain. Of course, it doesn't take much. Caused some slowdowns out there along I-95, hitting some pockets of wet roadways, but it's not raining everywhere. There's plenty of dry time in between. It's just those spotty storms that do develop, they don't move very fast at all. And we've seen some out here towards Miramar. It looks like that one along I-75 is fizzling out. But check out this one. It's starting to shift over towards Dixie Highway from about Oakland Park up through Pompano Beach, at least the heaviest. Could quickly put down an inch or two of rain, and that could cause some minor flooding in a few spots. No flood advisory for that storm yet, but I suspect if it continues for a little while longer, National Weather Service may put something out to keep you updated on it. Otherwise, the rest of us that haven't seen seen any rain yet. We have a heat index into the triple digits today. This is hotter than yesterday. Even though temperatures are not that much hotter, we have higher humidity. So that's what's causing this feels like temperature to be a lot hotter than what we had around yesterday. So we got plenty of fuel for these pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Hit or miss will last into the evening commute. And then into tonight, our model fizzles a lot of this out. And I think most of it will. But there's still that potential for 1 or 2 downpours a little bit later on tonight. We'll watch out for any rain during periods of high tide, especially during the next one later on tonight. Here's a look at the last 4 high tides. The morning ones have been a little bit higher than the evenings, but you can see it's bumping up against the moderate flood levels. This is what Key Biscayne looked like yesterday, because not only did they have king tide flooding, but they got almost an inch of rain coming right at high tide, and that's what can happen when we have that. So we'll watch out for later on tonight around 9:47. I think most of the rain is looking a little bit better by then. And then tomorrow morning, this one will probably be a little bit higher in that 10 o'clock hour tomorrow morning. So just a heads up, the cities have been doing a pretty good job at pumping out a lot of the sewers along the coast this season, it seems like. I haven't seen too many reports of flooding, but it's definitely out there. This weekend, rain chance still sitting at this 50% that we've been in. So hit or miss showers and thunderstorms, not a washout of a day. You can keep your outdoor plans if you want to, but just be aware you may run into some of these downpours, and that rain can come down heavy. Add up all the rain through the end of the weekend, and there's going to be a couple pockets of more than 4 inches of rain where we see some of that flooding. So we're locked into the storm zone, but I'm watching that storm system up near New York City, providing all that flooding that Andrea was telling us about. It also grabs onto the drier air and is sending it down the Florida peninsula, and we're going to be feeling that as we go into next week. It's going to sit here for a few days, so that rain chance going down. We'll first notice it late Monday. We'll probably have some decent storms around in the morning. But later on into the evening on Monday, humidity drops slightly. We drop the temperatures slightly, just by a few degrees, not a huge drop, but I think it's going to be noticeable. And instead of those big afternoon storms, just a few showers off the water at times next week. Much better.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. And ahead here at noon, Lauderhill police are investigating several shootings.
The latest one today, where a woman was shot after 3 other shootings that turned deadly.
Plus, the volunteer for a high school band accused of fondling a student of bonding out of jail following his arrest.
Plus, a homeowner speaking out after the same house is targeted multiple times.
Coming up on GMA3, we're following breaking news out of Washington. U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein of California passes away. Her towering legacy, especially for women across the country.
And our front row seat on Capitol Hill to the government shutdown closing in and the chaotic impeachment inquiry.
And new relief for parents having a hard time. How leaning into spirituality can help. You don't want to miss our Faith Friday segment.
And Shark Alert, the place is crawling with them. The Shark Tank team right here in our studio. They are a riot. It's all coming up on GMA3.
We'll see you then.
And ahead at noon, the Supreme Court making a ruling over social media.
That decision about how states can control certain content online is coming up.
Here's what's airing on Local 10 tonight. And here's what's on MeTV. And now we'll look at heroes and icons. Then catch up on the day with Local 10 News at 11. Number 1 local news. Number 1 national news. Local 10 News at 6. And World News Tonight. Your number 1 evening news team.
Now. And let's look outside from our Miami Tower cam. It's looking good right now. We'll see what the rest of the afternoon is going to do for us when we come right back.
Well, we got a few scattered showers and a few thunderstorms out there, but it is going to be hit or miss. Same case for this weekend, not a weekend washout, but when that rain comes down, it could come down heavy and will turn a little drier next week.
All right, drier would be nicer.
We want dry weather.
All right, that's it for right now. Thanks a lot for watching. GMA3, what you need to know is next.
We'll see you right back here starting at 3. But remember, you can get the latest news all day long. Just check out our website, local10.com.
Have a great day.